少见我的，你找不到啥子在大陆的嘛？在其他聊一点，其他聊一点是啥？他们地区的嘛，他们除了的这一区地区的大部分，我的这是，现在我要你这个是，那马上见我现在给出给出这边问，那少年的James was in
Murder is an act we often associate with hardened criminals, those shaped by years of violence, mental illness, or psychological distress. But what if the perpetrator is a child? And not just any child, but one as young as 8. This is the unsettling story of Amarjit Sada, the youngest known serial killer in recorded history. A case that challenges our perceptions of morality, justice, and the capacity for evil within the most innocent of minds. The story you are about to hear is not just one of crime, but one of neglect, silence, and unanswered questions. Questions about childhood, about the justice system, and about a child's capacity for violence, questions that have yet to find answers. In the early 2000s, the small village of Mushahar in Bihar, India, was like many others in rural India, isolated, humble, and struggling against the weight of poverty. People here lived simple lives, relying on farming and local trade. The children of Mushahar, like children anywhere, should have been playing in the fields, living carefree lives, but in this small village, among these innocent children, one child was hiding a dark secret, one that would reverberate through the community for years to come. The shocking truth was that this child, Amarjit Sada, would go on to commit a series of crimes so brutal, so chilling, that it would redefine what we understand about childhood innocence. Amarjit Sada was born in 1998. From the outside, he appeared to be just another young boy, a child surrounded by family and community. He played with his peers, went to school, and lived a life like any other. But beneath this seemingly normal exterior, there was something far more disturbing at play. As a child, Amarjit was often described by those who knew him as quiet, withdrawn, and distant. He didn't display the typical emotional responses that one might expect from a young child. And it was this emotional detachment, this lack of connection to those around him, that should have raised red flags. But no one noticed. No one suspected. When Amarjit was just 8 years old, he committed his first murder, a crime that would set him on a path toward a series of horrifying actions. His first victim was a 6-month-old cousin. Soon after, he murdered his own 8-month-old sister. These murders were carried out with a disturbing coldness, a detachment so chilling it defied understanding. But despite the horrifying nature of these crimes, Amarjit's family remained silent. They did not seek help. They did not alert authorities. And the world remained unaware. The murders of Amarjit's victims were brutally similar. In each case, he led the child away, first his cousin, then his sister, and took their lives with his bare hands. The sheer simplicity and calmness with which he carried out these acts were terrifying. Despite the undeniable horror of what had happened, his family concealed his actions, fearing disgrace and shame. It wasn't until 2007, when a neighbor's infant daughter went missing, that suspicion began to surface. A search was launched. Amarjit, remarkably calm and unfazed, guided the villagers to the child's body, hidden in a field. It was there, in the chilling silence of the discovery, that the truth began to emerge. What shocked the community wasn't just the discovery of the child's body, it was Amarjit's role in it. He not only confessed to the crime with an eerie level of calm but showed no remorse for what he had done. In fact, some reports claim he even smiled when recounting the details of his actions. The authorities were faced with a terrifying reality: an 8-year-old child, with no apparent motive, had committed multiple murders. But what was even more unsettling was the fact that Amarjit appeared completely indifferent to his crimes. He showed no remorse, no fear, no emotional reaction whatsoever. This was not a child in the throes of distress or confusion. This was a child who had committed murder without hesitation. Psychologists and criminologists, struggling to make sense of this phenomenon, diagnosed Amarjit with conduct disorder, a condition associated with aggressive behavior and possibly psychopathy, an emotional detachment that can lead to violent tendencies. Yet, in a country where juvenile crime laws are designed to offer rehabilitation rather than punishment, Amarjit could not be imprisoned. Instead, he was placed in a juvenile facility, a decision that many have questioned. How could a child this young commit such horrifying acts? And if he was capable of such violence, what would the future hold for him? Amarjit's case sparked a national conversation about the nature of crime and punishment. The fact that a child could commit such a heinous act led many to ask difficult questions. What does it mean for a society when a child, seemingly innocent, becomes capable of murder? Was Amarjit simply a product of his environment, a victim of neglect or trauma, or was there something more inherent to his violent tendencies? The case also raised concerns about India's juvenile justice system. If a child this young could commit multiple murders, what does that say about the system's ability to rehabilitate? Should someone like Amarjit be allowed to return to society once they have served their time, or should there be more stringent measures in place to prevent potential future violence? In 2016, when Amarjit turned 18, he was released from the juvenile facility. Since then, his whereabouts have remained unknown. No one knows where he is or whether he has re-entered society. This is perhaps one of the most unsettling aspects of the case, the uncertainty of what might come next. The story of Amarjit Sada has left behind a legacy of unanswered questions. It is a case that challenges everything we thought we knew about childhood, crime, and justice. Can a child truly understand evil? Can they be held accountable for actions so horrific that they shatter all preconceived notions of innocence? What makes this case even more troubling is the fact that it was not an isolated incident. Around the world, children have committed acts of violence far beyond what we consider normal. But few cases have gained the same level of attention as Amarjit's. And as more time passes, it becomes increasingly difficult to ignore the question, what happens to a child like Amarjit once they grow up? Is rehabilitation even possible, or is society at risk of creating future killers through neglect, poor intervention, and systemic failures? The legacy of Amarjit Sada is one of uncertainty, fear, and a lingering sense of horror. For some, he is a cautionary tale, a reminder that no one, no matter their age, should be considered beyond the capacity for evil. For others, he remains a mystery, a child whose future remains shrouded in darkness. True crime stories often leave us with a sense of closure, whether it be justice, understanding, or the resolution of a mystery. But in the case of Amarjit Sada, justice remains elusive. He has walked free, and the questions surrounding his crimes persist. Can a child be rehabilitated after committing such atrocities? Or do we face a future where the most innocent among us harbor the darkest of secrets? This case is not just about Amarjit Sada, it is about all of us. It is about how we understand childhood, crime, and justice, and the uncomfortable reality that sometimes innocence can be deceiving. If you found this story unsettling, if it made you think about justice, childhood, and the potential darkness that can lie beneath innocent surfaces, consider subscribing. Stay informed and dive deeper into the mysteries that lurk in the shadows of our world. Your support helps keep stories like these alive.